In the late 1980s, we purchased the piece of property that we live on now. There was a trailer here and a garage. And we noticed shortly after we purchased it that there was a lot of rust or iron in the water. And there was a water softener that quit working at one point in time. And my wife ended up, when she was doing laundry, we ended up with orange socks. And my wife's hair, which is pretty much blonde, kind of strawberry blonde, ended up turning more red than blonde, and it was all because of suspended iron in our water. And if you took a glass of water from a spigot and it wasn't run through a water softener first and you set it on the table, that glass of water looked clear, but in a half an hour's time and getting oxygen from the atmosphere, that glass of water would turn orange and you wouldn't even be able to see through it. I talked to a friend, Dale Dantoine, who worked at that time for Bay Lakes Lindsay, EcoWater Systems, and he set me up with this iron filter, which is a model ETF AIIF9-115. And that had to be someplace around the 1992 to 95, something like that. So this filter is quite old. So I need to do some work on this as it's not doing its job very well anymore. You can set it up so that it flushes out the impurities and the iron. I think it's up to 6 days, every 6 days, and when we first got it, that's worked fine, but now it's to the point where you have to flush daily in order for it to clean anything out, and it's still not doing its job. We have rust streaks that my wife has to use Wink to get out of the toilets and stuff. So something I'm going to do is replace the berm and the gravel in this filter. And according to the EcoWater Owner's Manual, which is unlike most owner's manuals now. Most owner's manuals now don't tell you anything because they're all worried about getting a lawsuit. So this one tells us the type of material that goes in here is berm, and it tells me that the amount of that mineral that we need to go in is 1 cubic foot, and it tells me that the amount of gravel that's in the bottom, which is quartz gravel, that I need to have 17 pounds of quartz gravel. So it tells me everything that I need to know in here, and also goes in some repair and replacement in the owner's manual, which is a great thing. So I'm going to take this apart for the first time and see what we've got and replace the berm and the gravel, and we'll see where we end up. Thanks for watching. This filter was actually installed in 2006, which makes it 14 years old. So to start out, the first thing I'm going to do is de-energize this unit. There's actually two plugs. One is a transformer, and the other one is 120 that goes directly to the air pump. Now that it's de-energized, I will remove the cover. There's a couple snaps on the back side. Then back here there is a bypass. So it says right on it, push for bypass. I got a cable there, so I want to make sure I don't get that stuck in there. And then I will hold on to it. Took a little bit to get it to move. I'm sure that I haven't used it in a long time, so it's been sitting that way basically forever. There are 3 clips in here that are plastic clips that are quick disconnects. There's one right here that is for the drain line. There's one down here that is for the incoming water, and one here for the outgoing water. Now these are going to slide out of the socket here, and I'm sure that this portion of each one of these is going to have an O-ring in there. So now I am going to remove those quick disconnects, I'm hoping that I know there's going to be some water in there when I open this up, and hopefully I won't get sprayed too bad, because I don't know of any way to release the pressure, the water pressure in here. So there's the clip on the drain line. We'll take that one apart so that I can see exactly how it works, and that it's exactly the way that I figure it should be with an O-ring. Remember, the tank is full of berm and gravel, so without pulling too hard on the lines, you want to work this out. It's also full of water. I decided to go and get myself a claw hammer to assist me with this. Remember that what I'm pounding on is plastic, or you're pounding on is plastic, so be gentle, don't be cranking on it too hard. Just tap on it lightly to help assist in getting it out. And there came out the drain. And I just heard the water run out down below. And looking at it, it looks pretty nasty. Lots of iron and rust deposits, and an O-ring just like I figured it would have. Hopefully the bypass works, because if it doesn't, I'm going to really get wet, and you're going to get to see me rush really fast to turn the water off in the house, which I don't really want to turn off unless I have to. To remove these clips, you're going to have to get in here with a small screwdriver. Get in underneath the clip and then pry the clip until it pops out. You may end up ruining the clips and have to buy new clips. That's life. That's the way it works. But that's how you got to get in to remove the clips. Get your screwdriver underneath it and pry that clip out. If you work the screwdriver from when you start to pull the clip out on the inside, so the center section of it, get your screwdriver under there, bring it up around to the center, and then lift the clip out. The clips are way more resilient than what you think they would be. So they're tougher. They stretch and don't break, as compared to most plastic stuff nowadays breaks, or older plastic stuff, I should say. There we go. Oh, and there came the water. As I got that clip out, it popped and relieved the pressure. There's the second clip. Put your parts somewhere so that you know where they are, so you know how it goes back together. If you need to, make sure to take pictures. Also, I wanted to tell you that if you can't find your original owner's manual for this, if you put the model number and who made it, like mine is EcoWater and the model number is the AIIF, if you put that in and put PDF behind it when you do a search in Google, it will come up, and I know that this model owner's manual is definitely on the internet. So now, other than the hose that go down to the air pump, I should be completely disconnected. My water lines are no longer connected. Now I can move this out from where it is and then disconnect the air hoses. My air hoses happen to be tie wrapped on, so I can remove the head here first, because the hoses are below the head, which will make it much easier for me to get in to the other sections. So I will start unplugging the wiring, and again, if you need to take a picture, take a picture. If you don't need a picture, still take a picture. Doesn't hurt. And when it comes down to that one last piece that you go, I don't remember where this went, then you always have the picture to refer back with. Doesn't make you look stupid because you take a picture. It actually makes you look smart, because what will make you look stupid is thinking you're smart and then you got something that you can't fix because you didn't take a picture. That makes you look stupid. So looking at my connections here, I got that one to take off. This one here. I need a little screwdriver to pry on the bottom. I can get my fingers in there. And that looks like all there is for wiring. So I should be able to remove the top right now. And there that is, all separated with the wiring. I will set that off to the side. And now I can get down into the parts easier. I could have probably removed that before, and that would have helped me out, given me more space back here also. So if I was you, I would remove that a little sooner, because you can see what's going on a little better once it's removed. Now I was able to remove the tie wrap and get at the back side of the tank here a little bit. I'm going to take a picture of where the connections are, so later on it's a little more simple for me to put it back together. I'm no spring chicken, as you know. Now I will take a small crescent wrench and get into these connections for the air lines. I think what I'm going to try to do is take the head off, because if I can get the head off, it'll be a little easier to get in here. The connections that are up here, there's a clip on this side and another clip on this side. So this clip here just pops off. When you pull it out, it's going to fly off, so just be careful so you don't lose it. So now once both clips are off, one on each side, you'll be able to get in here with your screwdriver. You get on the back side, do the same thing back here, push it off, and now the head should be able to be removed. Twist it back and forth a little bit, because there's going to be an O-ring in there, and off it comes just like that. Okay, next there's a plastic collar up in here that needs to come off. Just reach in and grab a hold of that and pull that out. Set that off to the side. Then we need to get in with a screwdriver. There's a slot here and here. There are clips in there. You can look up inside the back side here and put your screwdriver down in that clip, and you can see when that clip is released, and then push up on the cover while you're pushing to release that clip, and it will pop loose, just like that. Now I got to do the same thing on this one. Just work back and forth, because the clip is fairly long. So, and if you have to go up inside here, you can get at it that way too, from the inside. And there, that took that off. And there we go. Okay, so now that the collar is off and the top is off, You can see that there is another clamp up here, just like the clamp that was here. There's another clamp down here. So now I'll remove the second set of clips down below. Take that collar off. And there, that's removed. Now, it is much easier to get in at this connection. So both of those connections, I would wait until you get to this point before you remove them. That's, when I say the connections, I mean the air hose connections. I'm going to have to lay this down because this outer shell is one piece, and in order to get the tank out, I'm going to have to lay it down and then slide the tank out of it. And with the water and the berm and the gravel inside of there, it's going to be fairly heavy. So it's going to have to lay right down, which means it's going to make a big mess. There's going to be water all over the place. So the head section just basically pulls off. It's connected to a couple connections, one of them that goes to the bottom. That's going to have to go back in before you put the berm and the gravel in. So for now, I pull this head off, set it off to the side, and work into laying the tank down and removing the tank. Make sure to take note that this tube that goes all the way to the bottom of the berm and gravel tank, that it is not in the center of this opening, it's off to one side of the opening. So after you get it done making a big mess, get out your mop and clean it all up. Now I can pull the tank over so that I can get in here and grab the inner tank and slide it out and spill some more water. I'm going to try not to spill any more water. Roll it out and stand it up. Pull this tube out by going up and down. Go down a little, go up a little. That moves the berm up and down and allows you to get the tube out. You may have to tip the tank down like so to be able to get the tube out. Realize the bottom and the top. It has a filter on the bottom. So that is what the filter looks like on the bottom that goes down in the berm and the gravel. And as you can see, the tube is just covered with iron deposits that will need to be all washed up and cleaned before I put this all back together. So now I've got myself a couple of old dirty buckets. Berm is a mineral. Gravel in the bottom is gravel. It can all go and be disposed of anywhere, in a landfill, in your backyard in a hole, whatever. But now, what we need to do is not mess up this end, but we need to dump the water, the berm, and the gravel into the buckets. And it's pretty heavy. Won't get it too heavy so you can't carry it. Make sure to not be tapping on the ring, the sealing ring, or the sealing surface. And just tapping the side of the tank. Okay, I will take these two out and dump them. Then I will come back in with a water hose and spray up inside of the tank to wash the inside of the tank and get all the gravel and iron deposits that are inside of the tank washed out of the tank. It took me several tries, quite a few in fact. I put the water inside, about a gallon of water, swish it around to get the berm and the gravel to clean out of the tank. Rotate the tank, set it on the bucket, tip it upside down and hold it. And you can hear the stuff fall as I slap the side of the tank with my hand. Helps to break it loose. Tip it back up and do it all again until you get all the berm and the gravel out. Pull all of your O-rings off, and if you're not going to replace them, at least clean them up. Use your fingernail and go around the O-ring to clean all of the accumulated rust deposits and iron deposits that are on the O-ring. Because all it takes is one of those and you're going to have a leak. Then you get to take it all back apart. So you got a choice. You can clean them up or you can replace them. Just make sure you do a good job so that you don't end up with a leak when you're done. Also, the same goes for all of the sealing surfaces. Look at all of the surfaces where this O-ring and these O-rings sit against and make sure that all of those surfaces are clean. If you use any kind of instrument to clean those surfaces off, don't scratch them, because if you scratch them again, then it'll be junk. Not only will you have to take it back apart, but you'll have to replace it. So make sure everything is good and clean and washed up when you start putting it back together.